Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jolene Mujica. I'm the head of trends and tours at Windowswear. Welcome to Windowswear Live. We're going to be going over some retail news. As always, if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them in the chat features for all of our streaming services that we're currently on, which include Instagram Live, Facebook Live, LinkedIn Live, and Zoom. So let's take a look at what's going on at Dior today. So Dior is inviting people to try on sneakers via augmented reality. So Dior is bringing the reality of AR to life with their new Snapchat feature for their B27 men's sneaker collection. It allows users to quickly try on 6 variations and purchase directly from the Dior channel on Snapchat or directly on Dior.com. The sneakers are available in low and high top versions, and they're priced between 790 and 890 euros, respectively. The shoes come in white, black, or gray, which is Dior's house signature shade. Materials include half leather and nubuck, and the Dior oblique motif appears on a classic jacquard or on perforated leather. This was designed by Kim Jones, the creative director of menswear at Dior, and the B27 sneakers channel sportswear inspirations range from vintage 80s tennis shoes to the skateboarding universe and skate culture. Subtle details also include eyelets shaped with the initial CD for Christian Dior, while the word Dior is embossed on the heel and inscribed on the sole. And thanks to the success of its sneaker collaboration with Air Jordan earlier this year, Dior has become something of a go-to brand for sneakerheads and for luxury sneaker fanatics as well. 5 million people registered for a chance to buy Air Jordans, the 01G Dior limited edition sneakers when they launched, which cost about $2,000 American dollars for the low top version and $2,200 American dollars for the high top model. So sneakers and sneaker culture is certainly something that the luxury houses are delving into, and Dior is doing this quite successfully. Take a look on over at Cartier, see what's going on. Cartier has unveiled the Pantier de Cartier experience at Harrods. So Cartier has designed this experiential space in its Harrods boutique to delve into the history of its signature Pantier collection and reconnect with their London community. So Cartier is looking to reconnect with their community via this pop-up experience. It debuted on October 26th and it runs through Thanksgiving week, November 27th. The pop-up takes place in the jeweler's existing Harrods space. It's a sprawling 5,200 square foot area that was revamped in 2017, making it the department store's largest jewelry shop-in-shop, and it really delves into the history of one of the most famous collections, the Panthère de Cartier, right? So this is their touchstone, it's their insignia. Whenever you see this beautiful Panthère, you instantly know that you're in Cartier, that and of course the red leather boxes. This aims to create this truly immersive experience. There are several rooms to narrate the story of the famous range of jewelry. Let's take a look at some of those spaces. So here upon arrival, guests are greeted by the Cartier bellboys and are shown into a room clad with emerald green from floor to ceiling. This is a nod to the emeralds that have always been the feature of the Pantier jewelry collection, created of course for the Panther's piercing green eyes. Another room highlights Cartier's muses and former artistic director Janine Toussaint, her contributions to making the Panther a collection a house signature. Other displays, popular Panther pieces date back from 1914 all the way to present day. So it is a chronological look at the brand as well. There is plenty for visitors to be entertained, of course, including an all-mirror tunnel, a 3D light installation, and a touch and try space that allows customers to try on pieces and take pictures. In the all-mirror tunnel, a 3D light installation of the Panther and touch and try space. The company also notes that guests and staff will be wearing PPE at all times, and any creations that are physically tried on will be disinfected immediately. According to the managing director of Cartier in the UK, their clients are increasingly shopping online and are going back to their favorite Cartier creations. For this reason, the pop up has a renewed focus on the Panther collection. The creative director also points to a series of Panther novelties that will launch alongside the Harrods pop up shop and be sold in their adjoining boutique as well. Highlights of the series include pieces featuring quote unquote fur, which are setting technique, which involves a setting technique folding minuscule metal wires around hand carved onyx and diamonds. There will also be tote bags, postcards, and posters for visitors to take away, which is catering to the jewelry's and the jeweler's broader audience. And in the time of continued COVID-19 related government restrictions, the company's also noting, and Cartier wants everyone to know that are going to be visiting, that the staff, of course, will wear full PPE and masks are required for entry. So it's great to see that some brands are starting to reinvest in pop-ups and in person experiences, albeit limited capacity or with PPE restrictions. We're starting to see brands emerge, particularly for the holiday season, to get consumers engaged and to get them excited about the upcoming holiday season. Another great brand that is doing this successfully is Louis Vuitton. So Louis Vuitton has picked up Wuhan in China, or they rather picked Wuhan in China for their new global exhibition launch. So they've chosen the Chinese city of Wuhan as the first stop for their global traveling exhibition, CLV. The capital of the Hubei province, Wuhan, which has a population of more 11 million people, probably came to the world's attention earlier this year in January as the place where the coronavirus was first identified. And after one of the strictest lockdowns worldwide, the city has now returned to something approaching normality. Businesses have reopened. People are going about their daily lives as if the outbreak were sort of a distant memory. So for Louis Vuitton to pick this location and this city is very poignant and very, smart of them to recognize that their Chinese audience is strong and that their Chinese economy is strong, and it's sort of a metaphorical renewal. During the summer, pictures of thousands of maskless partygoers at a water park in the city went viral on social media, and Wuhan was also the most visited place in China during the recent Golden Week national holiday. So in an announcement for the exhibition, LVMH owned Louis Vuitton called Wuhan one of China's most important cities and rich in culture and historical heritage. What the biggest luxury brand in the world or why that biggest luxury brand in the world chose Wuhan as the place to launch their new exhibition is a clear sign of confidence in the post-pandemic recovery for both China and its importance as a luxury leader in the luxury market. The largest market for luxury goods in the world, China is, of course, vital to high-end brands such as Louis Vuitton, which have been very active in courting Chinese consumers on their own home turf. Louis Vuitton also, let's take a look inside the exhibition so you can see here just what that looks like. Louis Vuitton also this summer held a menswear show, Louis Vuitton menswear show in Shanghai earlier this summer in August. And before the pandemic, Chinese luxury shoppers tended to make the most out of their purchases on trips to the United States and to European fashion capital cities like Paris, Milan, and London. But since China closed its borders and with various countries imposing travel bans, there has been a repatriation of the luxury shopping market within the Chinese borders themselves. Now, admission to the exhibition, which opened this past October, on October 31st, it will run through the month of November until December 6th, is free and open to the public. And it does, of course, explore the 160-year history of Louis Vuitton from its early days, from young Louis Vuitton's early days as a trunk maker in Paris to their now powerhouse status that they have become synonymous with in the modern luxury world. So if you find yourself in that part of the world, feel free to check it out. Of course, PPE is required to walk into the exhibit. Here are some images. All right, so let's move on and take a look at some trends. So last week we spoke about what we're gonna start to see, or have already started to see, as of mid-October, the push for the holiday season and the holiday shopping season domestically here in the United States and really abroad, right? Generally, the European fashion capitals will start holiday earlier than the US does. For us, generally, it's the day after Thanksgiving, which marks the very big shopping moment. But we've noticed now with the emergence of online shopping and stay-at-home orders that people are still spending just in a different way. So last week we talked about what Black Friday would look like this year. It's more of a Black Friday month instead of a specific day. Now we want to talk a little bit about some omni-channel trends that we're looking toward in 2021, right? Some predictions for the future of retail. And of course, this can change at any given minute given the current sort of economy that we're in, given the current moment that we're in. All of these, predictory sort of guesstimations are based on data, and that is constantly shifting and changing, right? But something that we're seeing, really strongly emerge in 2020 is having a strong arm in omni-channel, right? Like, so for the brands that didn't have a strong digital presence, they've been left behind in the dust, right? What's next really for the world of omni-channel retail? Now, usually you'd look to the past years and assume many of the same trends will either flourish or continue into the following year, but it's really hard to ignore the elephant in the room, right? With 2020, which brought massive changes in the way that we shop, in the way that we live, and in our quality of life due to COVID-19. Now, people shifted to buying online more, to the tune of 43% more this fall than previous years, year over year. And an increased social distancing also means an omni-channel approach that is now a necessary tool for retail stores to thrive, right? So these changes won't just be temporary either, right? We can expect long-term changes in customer behavior. Customers are very fastly adapting to this new reality, and so should the retailers, right? And here's what we're seeing on the horizon. So the first trend we're seeing is social selling through video content, right? So consumers spend about 1/3 of their time watching online videos and online content. And as we've noted before, customers are up to 85% more likely to buy a product when they've watched a video about it, when they've become informed about it, right? This is particularly important for millennials and Gen Z who don't even walk into a restaurant that they haven't already read a Yelp review for, right? Suffice to say, this is a perfect time for social selling via video to become a major trend. We're already seeing social selling in the form of video content gaining popularity. And I think influencer selling will begin to be more monitored much more closely by brands with a core concentration on omni-centric management, right? So selling direct to camera via live stream will continue to grow. And this is ideal for influencers and for celebrities with an engaged following who are interested in selling via live videos on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, other social media platforms. The twist will come from the omni-channel approach, right? So selling via video content has been around for years. This is not something new, but technology lets sellers monitor video sales success across multiple channels, and the results will be more accuracy when tracking your campaigns as a brand. Another big thing, the second trend we're seeing is multi-channel attribution, right? What technology has made social selling with an omni-channel approach possible, it always comes down to attribution. And with the rise of omni-channel, marketers will increase marketers with increasing seek verification, and their online campaigns are resulting in offline sales, right? Companies who embrace multiple sales channels will pursue analytics that inform a more holistic view of customer journeys, and that can transition from online to offline and back again. The most important piece of multi-channel attribution is to start by meeting customers across channels, wherever they are. From there, you can deploy cross-channel analytics to study your omni-channel performance. And this is especially important in the wake of the COVID pandemic. In this environment, small businesses can only thrive by getting creative with their approaches, right? Along the way, multi-channel attribution lets you track omni-channel success with greater accuracy. The third trend we're seeing is a greater emphasis on community. It's virtually impossible to ignore the psychological impact of a worldwide pandemic, right? In a poll from Gallup, it noticed a very high uptick in the feeling of disconnectedness less than a few months into all of the various lockdowns globally, right? These feelings especially hit the 18 to 34-year-old age group. So that's, a little bit of Gen Z and millennials very hard. And this trend may have staying power as well beyond 2020 and into 2021. Is it any surprise that consumers and customers are really looking for a sense of community from their favorite brands, well, especially when we're feeling so isolated, right? A few possible omni-channel approaches can include minimizing distance between business and consumer. So social distancing, of course, is a good idea, but logistical distance is another matter, right? Giving consumers a role in the brand, right? Purpose Jewelry uses artisans to craft its pieces, employing survivors of human trafficking. It incorporates this element into an omni-channel approach, right? For Purpose Jewelry, their hashtag Spark of Hope email campaign included direct quotes from their artisans, displaying the idea of community behind the brand. And this invited consumers to see their role in employing these at-risk artisans with every purchase that they made. So a form of connection was built between the consumer and the brand. An omni-channel technology paired with a greater emphasis on community is a very viable antidote to isolation and to customer disconnection. The fourth trend we're seeing is applying data customer offline, right? So direct-to-consumer brands have always leveraged data and customer relationships to their advantage. And applying this framework to other sales channels will result in increased conversions, more effective promotion, better imported product development, and stronger customer relationships. Mixing omni-channel marketing with steadily improving technology will also make it easier to measure all customers in terms of lifetime value. Now, how can this help? Customers are increasingly omni-channel themselves, right? A few years back, a Harvard Business Review study found that 73% of consumers use multiple channels in their buying journey. In other words, this reality already exists, right? Applying consumer data offline simply acknowledges and reinforces that fact. Customers also prefer it that way, right? Researchers have also shown that as many as 9 out of 10 customers prefer the omni-channel experience. Digital habits also still apply offline, right? We're all familiar with the fact that consumers will research a product online before clicking add to cart, or won't just purchase directly, right? They'll shop around. They'll keep continuing to peruse the site. But increasingly, consumers apply the same logic to their offline experiences as well. According to Google, 59% of customers want to Google a product even before they make an offline purchase. It's wise to track and leverage this data, of course, behind consumer behaviors across various different channels. The fifth trend we're seeing are shoppable videos. We're all familiar with the trend of tapping on an Instagram post to buy the product that we see on our screens. So why can't the same logic apply to a video? Well, technically it already does, right? Shoppable videos is the omni-channel trend to watch for 2021, according to many polls. And it's easy to see why, right? If social distancing means retail brands won't have the live interaction with their consumers they previously had, shoppable videos might be the most viable digital replacement for that experience. And shoppable videos also means removing the logistical distance between your brand and the customer. Why would you want, why would you want it on the ground floor? Well, here are some things to consider, right? The first thing is opportunities are still emerging. The technology isn't quite there yet, but we're getting there. Also, the second thing to consider is to avoid interruptions, right? In a survey asking consumers why they download ad blockers, the most common answer that was given was very clear. Ads are annoying and they're very intrusive. And this outweighed even security or privacy concerns, right? It was more about the convenience than the actual security risks. Shoppable videos as an omni-channel solution can help advertisers target specific segments without feeling intrusive. And the final trend we're seeing is touchless and contactless transactions, right? We already know the retail store owners like to create sort of in-store apps for their consumers. Brands will use these apps to provide even more touchless and contactless contact-free transactions. This also includes things like local pickup, right? Curbside pickup. 67% of respondents in a survey said they would like to continue to use curbside pickup and local pickup after the pandemic. This is more than just an indication of one trend, right? It's an indication of overall buyer psychology, right? Retailers and brands will still push for their in-store apps, of course. And if these apps improve the customer experience enough, customers and consumers will still enjoy using them. But without these new safety-driven options as part of the package, brands could miss out on omni-channel wins. Now, this isn't to say that the retail stores should expect fewer touch points for their consumers. If anything, transitioning to a more open and less socially distanced economy will only make omni-channel offerings much more relevant. But consider that just 15 years ago, the average consumer only needed 2 touch points when buying a product. Today, this averages about 6. So that's 3 times more touch points for just one interaction, right? Consumers with that many touch points are going to expect more options at every stage, and that can include delivery and logistics, point of purchase, pickup options, and social distancing protocols. And it's clear that consumers are ready to continue adapting, and it is imperative that brands and retailers do as well. All right, so that does it for our news. We're going to go ahead and take a look at some of our Windows Wear members' projects. As always, if you are a member of Windows Wear, please make sure that you are uploading all of your projects and that your profile is up to date so that you can be featured on Windows Wear Live. So let's take a look at what's going on at Coach. Coach has launched their holiday campaign. It is alive and well. Let's take a look and see what they've got going on today. And while we wait for that to load up, this is a great opportunity for me to tell you make sure that you are uploading your projects. It is that time of year. It is the Windows Wear Awards are quickly approaching for 2021. So please, if you are a Windows Wear member, if you want to be considered for a Windows Wear Award, nominations will be announced on December 14th. So now is the time. Make sure you are uploading all of those projects that you have throughout the 2020 year. Make sure that your profile is up to date so that you can be considered for a Windows Wear Award. All right, so Giovanni over at Coach is showing us the beautiful holiday at Ginza. So again, Coach has launched their global holiday campaign. Here is their Ginza store. Fantastic work. Let's take a look at Vanderblock. So at Van Den Block, excuse me, they have VDB has worked with Sensei to work on a display. So here we have that project. We can see some beautiful use of denim and what looks like scarab beetles in the background. Delta Global. So Delta Global has built some beautiful packaging for thread in London. This is also recyclable. Over at Arsenal, New York has collaborated, and is working with FAO Schwartz. So Arsenal New York collaborated with FAO Schwartz to launch the FAO Loves Target, which is a pop-up experience at the FAO flagship in Rockefeller Center in New York City. FAO Schwartz is featuring more than 300 items from Target's private labels, including Cat and Jack and Pillow Fort. So here we can see all of those beautiful images, really fantastic work. All right, let's do one more project. Let's see what's going on over at Quattrobi Lighting. So at Quattrobi Lighting, they had the opportunity to work on a beautiful collaboration with Marina Rinaldi. With specific attention to detail, they designed a lovely gold track radius to bring the room to life with their perfect vision. As we know, lighting is everything, right? Fantastic work by Quattrobi. And that does it for Windows Wear Live for this Monday. Again, as always, please make sure that your Windows Wear profile is up to date and that you are uploading those projects. As it is award season, the Windows Wear Awards are around the corner. Please make sure you're uploading all those projects, adding every detail you can. The more description we have, the better we can speak to your work, right? So please make sure you do that. And our nominees will be announced on December 14th. Have a fantastic week, everyone, and we'll see you next week.